City Sounds. Creating podcasts, creating podcasters.
Hello and welcome to the pilot series. I'm Saskia Cookson, the host of In Situ, the podcast where me and my friends Julie and Melusi visit some of London's brilliant but underappreciated statues. We ask big questions about public art, commemoration, and the changing identity of urban spaces. I hope you enjoy listening.
What do Peter Pan, Virginia Woolf, and the Minotaur all have in common? They make up 3 of the roughly 1,500 public statues and monuments in London.
So on the bench, it's a statue of a cat. It has a scarf.
Yeah, so there's the metal scarf at the bottom, and then you got 2 scarves that other people have attached. Wait, feel up here. Yeah, there's one of the scarves that someone's.
This is serious business.
And then there's another little soggy scarf at the bottom.
Hi, Bob. This is more like a lion type of cat than a.
Do you think?
Do you notice the statues around you?
Why a cat? Like why in Islington, you know?
In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, where so many things are vying for your attention, how do you engage with your environment?
You got to approach. That was smart what you did, and I should have not said it.
What do public spaces tell us about ourselves, if anything at all?
When they told you there are no more statues in the world, would you be like, oh my word?
I actually would, because I think there is something very important about the fact that it's public art. I think just like having art in your surroundings is really important.
What if Christmas wouldn't happen anymore? Would I be sad? And as much as I hate Christmas, I still think that it's better to have it than not to have it.
You've been listening to me and my friends Julie and Melusi on our visit to Bob the Cat. This is a statue near Angel Station commemorating a very special ginger street cat who brought new meaning to the life of a man who experienced homelessness and addiction for many years. James Bowen found Bob with an infected wound and spent his last £20 on antibiotics for his new companion. A companion who would be immortalised, not only in the book that made James's name, A Street Cat Named Bob, but for the community, with a statue and a bench.
At that stage, well, it's literally...
With ongoing debates about which statues should stand, we ask how these monuments are perceived and how their meanings have evolved over time.
What do you think, Melusi?
If I woke up and there are no statues,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. Because I'm blind.
I'm Saskia Cookson, and this is In Situ. Julie, Melusi and I have been thinking a lot about how we use urban spaces, where we put our monuments, and how this adds to our environment or takes away from it. Statues have played different roles in different societies at different points in time. In building these sculptures, we have commemorated heroes, rulers and the divine, and shaped our collective memory. In ancient civilizations, statues were grand and imposing, with images of gods and warriors. The Middle Ages foregrounded religious and political figures, while the Renaissance celebrated the human form. In today's world, there is a growing need for representing diverse experiences in a single piece, leading to more socially reflective works. In a city as layered as London, monuments don't just honour history, they reveal who we are today. London is a city of movement, shaping and being reshaped by its multicultural community. Join us as we explore this relationship through 2 statues in the heart of the Big Smoke. In the corner of St Pancras Station, nestled between the Renaissance Hotel and Eurostar arrivals, is one of our statues, called the Meeting Place. This part of the station is surprisingly calm, a stark contrast with the sea of bodies you're greeted with as you come out of the tube downstairs. The Meeting Place rises 9 metres high, depicting a couple in an embrace. Art engages our senses in more ways than one, but our first impressions tend to be based on what we see.
Enormous.
We asked people passing by how they would describe it to someone who'd never seen it before.
Well, for statues that you can get close to, like this one, it seems enormous.
It's artistic, very artistic. It's very well done. I like the height of it. I think it's great how they've tried to put everybody into it to understand a bit of it. The miners, the people, and I think that's really good.
I simply describe it as pretty grand. It's huge.
Well, I had to actually look up the correct word to use for kissing couple.
If I was describing it technically, I would say I think it's made of bronze, and it's got reliefs underneath, and it expresses this is a place where you say goodbye to people.
It's just pure love between a man and a woman.
And what did it make you feel the first time you looked at it?
Part of the station.
It's like comforting to know that love is out there. A crick neck.
Oh, it's romantic, isn't it?
I wish I was young again.
Oh.
I'm going to burst into tears.
Erected in 2007, the sculpture by Paul Day was part of a broader effort to reposition St Pancras as a cultural destination, inspired by romanticised ideas of train stations and love. This signalled a move away from the idea of the railway being solely industrial. 2007 also saw the unveiling of another statue, in Parliament Square this time, which changed the space remarkably. Nelson Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist and the first democratically elected president of South Africa. He now stands alongside Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, and strangely, Jan Smuts, former Prime Minister of South Africa, who himself oversaw periods of colonial apartheid.
So how would you describe that statue? Someone who's never seen it, like me.
It's very living. Yeah. Is that the first time you've seen it too?
Yeah, it's the first time I'm here.
Warm. It's very warm.
I think it's bronze. He looks like he's got his hands out, either about to strangle somebody's neck or embrace them.
Reaching out to people, probably trying to make a point about something.
It's informal dress, from what I can see.
I noticed the pattern on his jacket that would have identified that he's different.
He is grasping and accepting whites, blacks, Hispanics, everyone to him.
How does it make you feel?
Kind of demanding kind of something, or maybe directing somebody, kind of a leadership.
I think he's very welcome.
He looks like he is honest. And it kind of makes me feel like he's still trying to get us to listen.
Journalist and anti-apartheid activist Donald Woods championed the project to erect a statue of Mandela in London. Following his death in 2001, his family and friends made it their mission to complete it. A 2007 Guardian article of the unveiling tells the story of how Mandela and his friend Oliver Tambo visited Parliament Square in the early 60s and joked about the possibility of seeing a statue of a black man there one day. I wonder if he was thinking back to that moment when he first saw the statue of himself and said, although this statue is of one man, it should in fact symbolise all those who have resisted oppression, especially in my country.
It is the first statue I have seen of a black man in London.
If that statue could speak, what do you think it would tell us about London?
Probably that it's welcoming to all sorts of people from different walks of life.
You're in the right place. Tourists, especially. This is tourist destination at the moment.
He's talking to the government, right? I think that's pointed at the House of Lords. I know he's probably criticizing it for the look of his face.
Like, is it really an apology?
But does the statue not demonstrate a move towards renewal? The start of a process of reckoning with the past and imagining new futures? This was the thinking behind the meeting place statue too. The idea of adapting and regenerating a space. And what better place to do it than London, a global city?
If this statue could speak, what do you think it would say about London?
It changes every day. If you can't enjoy London, you can't enjoy anything.
I think it still holds on to our international side, post-Brexit, which is quite nice. Yeah. Still feel like we have a toehold in Europe somewhere. It is just bringing people together. Even though it's a hot tourist spot, you could find love no matter what.
London is still a world-class city.
We've heard from the passers-by and what they think the statue would say about London. But what did critics have to say about the statue itself? Contemporary commentators dismissed the statue as kitsch, oversimplified, and even truly horrific. Paul Day responded that the reaction was so strangely hostile, but I believe time will tell whether people, not the art press, will value the piece. And what do the people have to say?
Oh, that needs some time to think about.
Suppose they wanted to remove the statue. How would you feel about it?
I feel like it'd be a waste of space. I feel like it needs to be there. It's eye-catching, like it literally was the first thing that I saw coming up, and then it kind of does stop and make you think a little bit.
I wouldn't, because that rather epitomises a station. You're either coming or going, so you're greeting or saying goodbye.
I think this is very good for a station because it is capturing journeys, and I think it's probably more imaginative than, say, just having an old train.
Conversations about which statues should stay and which should be removed are of course not just limited to personal taste, but are often deeply entangled with politics. In 2020, a time when decolonisation was coming to the forefront of discussion in the UK, a far-right petition called for Mandela's statue in Parliament Square to be torn down, labelling him a communist and a terrorist. Ironically, some people in South Africa have also been questioning Mandela's legacy. But rather than calling for the removal of his statues, they are re-examining whether he compromised too much when negotiating with the apartheid regime. That said, Mandela's impact is profound and felt all across the globe.
If you had a choice of removing that statue and replacing it with something else...
No way. No way.
I'm not even finished.
I'm not from here, I don't live here, so it wouldn't really impact me.
Hell no. No, it should be here to make people think. I mean, heck, you replace Nelson Mandela. I don't think anything could replace him, really.
The three of us assumed that in people's busy and distracted lives, statues often go unnoticed or ignored. Yet, when given a moment to reflect on London's public art, locals and tourists alike showed that they could find connections with it and think deeply about its meaning. Back in Islington, as we huddle around Bob the Cat in the crisp evening air, we too muse on the ways we relate to statues.
For example, a road near where I live now is called Rhodesia Road, which is crazy.
But it's not, though. In England, calling it Rhodesia.
Okay, you don't think that needs to be updated and we can call it something better?
In England.
Yeah.
Remember where we are.
Yeah.
If this was in South Africa, then I would be like, hell no.
We have the same debate in France with statues, but the current position of the government, Macron said that he wouldn't want to erase history by removing colonial-era statues. But I wouldn't be surprised that he'd say...
Statues are not objects to be passively observed, but rather something that we should engage with. A jumping-off point for reflecting on where we've been, where we are, and where we're heading.
All right, guys, put your scarf on and say bye to Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
In Situ is produced by me, Saskia Cookson, Julie and Melusi. We want to thank the wonderful people of London for letting us interview you, Al Booth for the additional support, and thanks to you for listening. You can find more of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts.